Oh, hello everybody.
The next one we're going to do is it's still chapter 4. The homework number is 2. And this one is a simplifying radical expression. I mean, we're going to focus still square root, but to do that is we need to learn a little bit about rational, like fraction exponent. So remember, the square root, the index is 2. So you can always write 2 here. So this is radical format. Well, then the power here is 1. So inside power is 1. So remember, if you remove the index, it always becomes the denominator there. Look, here is the power. So inside power is 1. Well, then the 1 on the top, the denominator is always the index. So index is always the denominator. Keep in mind. So here is the, if it's a square root, the power is the same as 1/2. So remember, when you simplify the exponents, we just divide by the index. That's it. And if this number is perfect square, we just square root. Like 16 square root is what? 4. But if there is an exponent inside, just divide by the index. So here, what is the index? 3. It becomes 1/3. What is the index? 4. So inside power is 1. It could be anything. So in this case, it becomes x to the power 1/4 and so on. So if the index is n mean index could be anything, well then we're going to write here x equal 1/n. X to the power 1/n. So remember, here, the index is always the divisor. So let me make it a little more clear here. So remember, index is always the divisor of inside power. Okay, so index is always the divisor of inside power. So here, for example, this, I can give you a really good example here. Let's say the index is x to the power. We're going to only focus today is the even exponent. So if it's not even, then that's probably tomorrow or next day. So x to the power 10, y to the power 12, z to the power 20, for example. So now somebody asks you to simplify this. So now remember, the square root, the index is 2. We're saying the index always divides. So index always the divisor of inside power. So here, what is the 10? So inside power is 10, 10 divided by 2. And y inside power is 12, 12 divided by 2, because index is 2. Z inside power is 20, so 20/2. You can skip this step or you can write, because remember, index, whatever the index is, we're going to divide inside. So all these power we're going to divide by the index. So the final answer should be x to the power 5, y to the power 6, and z to the power 10. And that's it. And again, we're going to focus only on the square root today. And I'm going to make it easier for you. Just the index going to be 2 and the power going to be even. But if there's a number in the front, you just take a square root, just like your today's homework. So let me show you some more example quickly. So here is all the problem going to have the same direction. So simplify. For example, this. So let's go number 1. So let's go 16 x squared y 4. Okay. So now remember, the 16, we know 16 is perfect square. So very careful. People sometimes they misunderstand me, then it says, oh, you're going to divide everything by 2. No, we divide the power by the index. So you could write the 2 here. So in this case, there's the power is 1. So remember, 1/2 is a square root. So left, right, look, square root of 16 is what? 4. Done. Square root, so x, what is 2 divided by 2 is 1. The index always, so remember, we only divide by the index inside. So y, 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that's the answer. And this one is optional. You can leave as is or just don't write it. So 4x to the power 1 or x, y squared. So keep in mind, very careful. I'm not saying, oh, half of 16 is 2. No, we divide the power by the index. So here is one more. For example, this. So let's say we have 121 x 8. I'm going to give you even exponent today. So then y um, let's go 10 and we can put z squared, something like this. Okay, so how you read this one? Simplify the square root of 121 x to the power 8, y to the power 10, and z squared. It's always handy if you write the index here. So index, the square root index is 2. So now, look, left, right always. Ask yourself, what is the square root of 121? 11. 121 is done. So now, every time you see the power, you divide by the index. So here, x, what is the 8 divided by 2 is a 4. Y, 10 divided by 2 is a 5. Z, 2 divided by 2 is 1. You can write 1. This one is optional, so that's the answer. So, today worksheet is everything is easy. The number is perfect square. All the power you will see is going to be divisible by 2. Tomorrow or next day, I can show you when you cannot divide by 2. This odd power, and a number in the front is not perfect square. Okay, so let me show you one more. So here is something they ask you, for example, this. So you can see example number 3. So let's say somebody says, 20 to the power 20. Simplify this. So now look, so index is 2. So now the base never changes. Look, 2, so 20 will stay as is. What is 20 divided by 2? So the final answer is 20 to the power 10, and you're done. Because if you do 20 to the power 2 and take square root, you're going to see exactly the same answer here. So leave as the exponent, that's the answer. Look, the base could be a variable, it could be a number. So this number, so keep the base as is, and then divide the exponent by the index. Remember, index could be anything, but the missing index is always 2. Let me see a couple of more. Sometimes they on purpose they put the negative in the front. So remember, if the negative outside, so simplify. For example, this. Let's go, this one is 289, negative outside, x 40, and y to the power 30, something like this. Okay, so now we know, you can use your calculator if you want. So look, this negative not going to go anywhere. Careful there. What is square root of 289 is a 17, because 17 square is 289. So now, so in this, again, the square root index is 2. So now every time you see a power, you're going to divide by the index. So look, 40 divided by 2 is 20. And 30 divided by 2 is 15. And that's the answer. And you're done. So remember, square root, you cannot have the negative inside. The cube root you can. But index is even index, you cannot have a negative inside. So a negative outside will stay. And look, this number, perfect square, 17. And when you see the power, and just divide by 2. Okay, that's the lesson. It's very easy. And because I gave you all the even power, and the index is 2 for all the problems. But, I mean, in the upcoming section, we can have the cube root. I think we're not going to go fourth root. It's going to be cube root. So try the homework. Let me know. And I just checked the homework, and then most of you did great. So thank you. And keep it up. And we'll see you soon.